Bitcoin is close to becoming worthless.
Let's go. Now, what's the Bitcoin?
Bitcoin's like rat poison.
Yeah. Oh,
The greatest scam in history.
let's get it.
Bitcoin will go to fucking zero.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Bitcoin Brief, the show where me and Q&A catch up every 2 weeks to talk about Bitcoin, privacy, open source, keeping your Bitcoin secure, and the news and software updates that matter. I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who's been supporting Ungovernable Misfits, and a big thank you to Foundation Devices for supporting the show. If you haven't already checked them out, go to foundation.xyz. They make cypherpunk tools for fuckwits, and anyone can use this, even me. If you have any questions or you want to reach out, feel free and I'll be happy to go through things with you. For anything super technical, I'll pass you on to Q. If you want to buy one of these incredible passports, use the code Ungovernable. It will get you a discount and it will let them know that I'm shilling. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to the Cake Wallet team. Not only are they supporting this show, but they're also bringing out some incredible features. For those of you who actually use Bitcoin and actually care about their privacy and security, Cake Wallet make it incredibly simple for you to live outside of the traditional financial system. You can use Cake Pay within the app to buy gift cards for food, petrol, and whatever else you might need day to day. You can use silent payments, and of course, you can use Monero. You can connect both Bitcoin and Monero nodes, use coin control, and this team are constantly innovating, and I'm really excited to be working with them. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, but check them out at cakewallet.com. Download the APK or start using this today on Mac, Windows, Linux, iPhone, or of course your Android device. Enjoy the show.
Good morning.
Hello, sir. How the devil are you?
I am very well. All the better for speaking to you, mate.
Oh, that's nice to hear. I believe you might be a touch under the weather.
Can you hear it in my voice?
Yeah, there's a little twinge in there that tells me you're not really at 100%.
I'm not great, but I'm on the other side of a sickness. It's not been a lot of fun the last couple of days in the house. All the vomiting in the face from my kids has finally got to me. It's gone through the eyeballs into the bloodstream and made me really sick. So
Yeah, that'll get you.
Well done.
Is it and the whole family as well, or just you?
My missus is actually really fucking hard. She's much harder than me these days. She just doesn't get ill. I don't know how she manages it, but yeah, like everyone else, even the dog has been really, really unwell. Everyone other than my missus has been sick. I'm getting out the other side of it now, but I've still got this, like, my ears and teeth hurt. What's it called? Like sinusitis kind of thing.
Right.
So, and just like coughing up, just like toxic shit. But yeah, other than that, mate, all is peachy. What about you?
Yeah, can't complain. I had a nice little weekend break. This weekend just gone. We are recording a day late. That's not the reason, by the way, due to some situation out of my control yesterday. Yeah, so apologies to the listeners that are waiting with bated breath for this to drop on a Wednesday. It's probably going to be Thursday this week, and you can blame me for that one. So if you want to shout me some abuse in the boosts, feel free to do so.
Definitely do that.
But yeah, other than that, I started my Christmas shopping, trying to be a little bit more proactive this year. Normally last minute cramming on Amazon to buy anything that's available on Prime for next day delivery. So I don't want to be that guy this year. So I said to myself, I'm going to start a little bit earlier.
That's very organised of you.
Just one less thing to worry about, right? Can relax and enjoy the run into Christmas then without having that niggling minor anxiety that you've got 10 presents to buy and it's the 22nd.
When I had like a proper human being job, like a proper fiat one back in the day, I used to do a lot of hours, and what I used to do was on Christmas Eve is when my family celebrates. I used to work on the Christmas Eve and then race up to London and buy everything that afternoon, and then I'd get tinfoil and wrap everything in the back of my car, and then literally just walk in and throw everything underneath the tree.
That's a lot of pressure.
It was, oh mate, it was fucking horrendous. Like at Christmas Eve in London, doing all your shopping last minute is fucking horrific. And I'm sure it used to cost me way more than it needed to, because I was just like, I don't care what it costs, just fucking buy this shit just so that I don't have to be here anymore.
Yeah, well, you save money on the wrapping paper, or lack of.
Well, the tinfoil is amazing because you don't need the sellotape either.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's the best. I don't know why more people don't do it.
That is a great idea, actually. Perhaps I'll do that this year.
Yeah, I've only just stopped because my missus is like, come on, can we just do better than this?
It does look a bit low effort, doesn't it, to be fair?
It looks proper shit, yeah.
What else is going on in the ungovernable misfits land? Any news?
There's a few things happening, but nothing I can properly talk about yet. I can say that there is a new show coming very soon. It will be dropping in the new year.
Oh, intriguing.
So that's pretty exciting, but I can't say any more than that. What else have we got? Oh, I've also got an exclusive show that will be going live probably just after this, a few days after this, which I'm very excited about. So I'm not giving you much there. We got shows.
Well, in the interest of adding to the teasers, just a quick reminder that if you're interested in what we've been up to at Foundation, we are continuing to tease our next product, which will be officially announced on the 16th of December. The teasers are getting a little bit less teasy, if that's even a word. And by the time this goes out...
It's the end of the strip tease.
By the time this podcast goes out, there'll be a video on our Twitter as well, well, all of our socials, that will probably give you a much better idea if you're still clueless up until now as to what we've been up to. When you're listening to this, maybe open up your Twitter app and go and see what we've been up to. Not going to share full details, of course.
I've had quite a lot of DMs.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I've had quite an unreasonable amount of DMs. People asking me, hey, what is it? What is it? What is it? What's happening? Can you tell me? I'm like, I don't know anything. I know less than you.
You'd be surprised at the amount of emails we get to the support inbox by people just saying, oh, can you tell me what it is? As if we're just going to be like, yeah, sure, it's this.
Yeah. Yeah, you cracked the code. Well done.
Yeah, it's like, I promise I won't tell anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been having.
So, but yeah, not too much longer to wait. The teasers will get more and more explicit as we get closer and closer to the date. So keep an eye on our socials.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah, no other AOB for me, mate. Yeah, we're just hard at work cramming all of the product side and the marketing side of things for gearing up for this big launch. So it's very much all hands on deck at Foundation at the moment. And I don't know what's triggered it. Maybe people are just getting more aware of us, but the passport sales have just been absolutely mental as well. So it's
incredible.
That coupled with the fact that we're gearing up to announce something new, we're all kind of running around like headless chickens at the moment, trying to get everything done.
You know what I think that is?
Oh, go on.
I think it's two things. I think it's we've had a price run.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
If the number that you've got in your head suddenly doubles and you think, oh, this could double again or triple again or whatever it's going to do, you start to get a bit like, oh fuck, maybe my security setup isn't quite where I want it to be, and maybe I should reconsider things. And the other thing is just time. I feel like Foundation now has been around for enough time that it's built trust and reputation.
Yeah.
Early days, I was like, oh, this is really cool, and like, especially before you were working there, when I first spoken to Zach, I was like, this is cool, and it's a nice feel and nice look and all of that kind of stuff. But it just takes, 3, 4, 5, 6 years of time before you're like, okay, no, these guys aren't fucking around.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a big part of it. We noticed that when we went to Nashville this year compared with previous years. Previous years, it was like 50% of people came up to us and said, why have I never heard of you? And then this time it was like 90% of people were like, oh yeah, no, I know about you guys. I just wanted to come and have a play with the products and see it in hand and stuff.
Yeah.
So you can definitely see that awareness has had a massive shift for the positive.
That's good.
So if you are a Foundation customer, thank you once again for your support. We appreciate each and every one of you.
You're welcome.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, Max, but we are going to hit the news and all 4 items on the list are positive. Every single one.
Surely not.
Absolutely. Should we dive in?
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Number 1. The US Appeals Court has overturned sanctions against Tornado Cash. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals determined that the Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, exceeded its authority Shock horror, a government entity overstepped the mark by adding Tornado Cash to its specially designated nationals and blocked persons list, basically adding them to the OFAC list so that if you're a regulated company, you cannot do dealings or interact with the Tornado Cash smart contract at all. So the decision has overturned a District Court of Texas ruling that had previously upheld OFAC's action under the IEEPA, which is International Emergency Economic Powers Act. That's a bullshit bingo, isn't it?
Wow, okay.
The Court of Appeals has overturned it, which is, again, for us as kind of Bitcoiners, might seem like a bit of a nothing burger, but anytime that the government gets told that they've overstepped the mark is a positive for me. Just as a reminder, the dev for Tornado Cash, which I believe is, Alexei Pertsev, he got sentenced earlier this year in Holland for money laundering charges, and he was sent down to a little over 5 years in prison. So I don't think that this is going to change any of that. Obviously, it's different jurisdictions, but yeah, the main positive here for me is that they've been told that they've overstepped the mark. It's unclear, I guess, at the moment what that means for companies that do deal with Tornado Cash and things like that. I guess it just means that more free to do so. There's some interesting quotes here from the judge where the court stated that OFAC overstepped its congressionally defined authority and acknowledged that there are legitimate reasons why law-abiding individual might use a mixer like Tornado Cash. Like, that's music to my ears, that is. I've never heard so much common sense come out of a government entity.
Yeah. It's almost like they've woken up and just gone, we should do our jobs and actually help people.
The judge further clarified that despite OFAC's designation of Tornado Cash, the platform's immutable smart contracts continue to operate. Moreover, because the software remains functional despite sanctions and blockchain technology enables peer-to-peer transfers without requiring the recipient's consent, some users may be held liable if someone transfers digital assets to them via Tornado Cash without their knowledge or approval. Again, more common sense. I nearly fell off my chair when I read
Unbelievable.
On to positive news number 2. Samourai Wallet and Tornado Cash prosecutor Damian Williams is to step down in December. I mentioned that this is positive, and you could argue that it probably makes no difference. Damian Williams, the US attorney for the Southern District of New York, has stepped down, and his resignation begins on the 13th of December. Now, obviously, they're going to throw somebody else in there, but I guess the potentially positive bit here is who they might throw in there that might be more favourable to, the Samourai guys and the Tornado Cash guys' cause here and maybe have a more positive outlook. Obviously, that remains to be seen. Just as a reminder, this Damian Williams guy was appointed by Joe Biden, and he's overseen quite a few high-profile cases like FTX, the Sam Bankman-Fried guy, Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's other bit on the side. I think he's done some others as well, maybe.
So actual criminals.
Actual criminals, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll have to wait and see as to who is going to be... Oh, here we go. Edward Kim, the current deputy US attorney, will take over as acting US attorney when he departs. Additionally, President-elect Trump has announced his intention to nominate Jay Clayton, former head of the SEC, to lead the office. I don't know enough about either of those guys to know whether or not that's a good thing, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Just as a reminder, I think we're a little over 2 weeks away from the next Samourai Guys hearing, which I think is on the 17th of December. More on that when we get to that point. Oh, that's interesting, actually. Yeah, it's on the 17th of December. I'm going to be in New York on that day. Well, it'll be in the daytime.
Maybe you could make your way down. I know you can't because you got a thing. I'm just thinking about this prosecutor. Can you imagine if that's your job and you've had some really high profile cases and you've put away Ghislaine Maxwell, who literally paedophile ring for children and all the fucking disgusting shit that's gone on, but nothing actually comes out about it. And then you put away that fucking weirdo with just the most ridiculous, elaborate Ponzi scheme who's like fucking this girl who looks like she's an owl and having orgies on Ritalin, just like the most weird cunt ever. You put him away. Maybe he just stepped down because he's done some good stuff. I put some weirdos away, some nutters away, and now I've got this case which is just nonsense. Maybe he's just stepped down and gone, this is such nonsense that I can't have this tarnish my career.
Yeah, that could be a part of it.
It could be why.
We shall see. Okay, positive news number 3. The open source project BT Clock had their GitHub repository taken down after a trademark threat.
Oh, did it?
Well, if you were on Twitter more than a couple of weeks ago, then you would have seen lots of drama where they've had a cease and desist letter or a trademark infringement letter from our good friend over in Canada who
Jordan.
said that, yeah, it was Jordan. Jordan sent him a cease and desist letter and said that you're copying one of my projects. No, it was CoinKite.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that's a bit cunty from you, Jordan, but that fits.
So they sent them a cease and desist letter, somehow got the GitHub repository taken down, which in my opinion is the most abhorrent part of this whole scenario, where a simple email to GitHub was enough to take down an open source project, which was strange to me. But anyway, Yuri, the guy behind the project, is now self-hosting his own repository. So if you want to go and access and look at the repository and build your own BTC clock, then you can head over to the link in the show notes to go and find out how to do that. If you don't want to do that, but you're still interested in one, then maybe contact Yuri and support his work and offer to purchase one. I know I'm going to be doing that myself in the new year when he's ready to start selling again as a show of support for what is honestly a very, very strange situation. I'm just glad he's got it back online and he didn't kind of roll over here.
What do one of these things cost?
Good question. I know they are for sale, one of our resellers called BitSaga. They are €250. So in pounds, that's probably what, 220, something like that.
Something like that. It's about the same, isn't it?
That's from a reseller, though, called BitSaga. I'm not sure how much they are or if they're even going to be possible to be purchased direct from Yuri, the guy behind the repository. But that'll give you a rough idea as to what they're being sold for.
I kind of fancy one. There was one that I really wanted years ago. We covered it on 21ism, and it was like this couple from somewhere in America where they were taking these old style tube lighting from Soviet submarines. They had building these clocks out of them, ticker clocks. They were really fucking cool. Wow. I would Google it now, but it'd take me too long. In fact, I will do it when you're on the next story. I'm going to do it.
Oh, so positive story number 4. Ocean, the mining pool, now supports mining directly to Samourai Wallet's legal defense fund. Now, this is positive for the obvious reason that we all should be doing whatever we can financially or by any other means to support the guy's defense, not only to keep them out of prison, but for the wider ramifications for the rest of the ecosystem as well. But as we all know, Luke Dasher is one of the head honchos over at Ocean and does not have a great history with the Samourai guys. So the fact that the guys at Ocean have been able to swallow their pride, put the past behind them, and be big enough to be able to support this earns a lot of respect from me. Just wanted to mention it really and just say that if you are mining with Ocean, then you can now direct your hash power to a dedicated address that isn't just going to the overall P2P rights fund, it's earmarked directly for the guy's defense.
That is very cool.
That is very cool, especially given the kind of bad blood that is there between these two parties. It's great to see that they were able to see the bigger picture here and offer that sort of support. So, if you're mining with Ocean, maybe consider donating some of your hash rate over there to support this defense fund.
Credit where credit's due. Me and John have talked about this a little bit. Pleased to see it.
Did you manage to find the clock or should we hit some boosts?
I kind of did. I'm going to send it to you now. But 21ism, the site is no longer up. We've taken it down, so I can't actually show you the article that goes with it. It was from someone.
Holy fuck, that's cool.
It's really cool, isn't it?
That looks like it's AI generated. Is that real?
Yeah, it's real.
God.
I really wanted to buy one when we did the article, but I was too tight to do it. They're called Voltage Goat. Here's a bit of free marketing for you, Voltage Goat. Go to voltagegoat.com and you'll see in the shop they've got these tickers, they're called, and they've got the Nixie Bitcoin ticker, they've got a Rocket one.
They look so cool.
Yeah, they're really fucking cool.
It looks expensive, if I'm being honest. It is expensive.
Yeah, nearly $600. But it's like old, proper tube technology that we interviewed the people who were making them, and they make them in their garage by hand with all these old parts that they've got a source from Russia. And it was cool, as a proper piece of art. 60s tube technology.
I think that's the way you need to look at this. It seems on the surface of it to look really expensive when you say, it's $579, but it's not just a clock.
Yeah.
That is a visually stunning piece of art that I would happily have in my living room, and it would absolutely be a talking piece for anybody that came into my house.
Yeah, exactly. Really, really cool. So maybe if we have a really good bull run, I might consider it.
Yeah, I was just about to say that next time we hit a big price target, that might be something I can maybe treat myself to.
There we are. Free marketing. voltagegoat.com.
Let's do some boosts. First one comes from John with, once again, 100,000 sats.
He's
He
a
says,
baller.
need to learn more about the gunpowder treason. Read your own fucking website, dipshit. This link will be in the show notes, but ungovernablemysfits.com/remember-the 5th of November.
Written by a world-class cunt.
Oh, it was Ben Gunn's.
Ben Gunn.
Okay, interesting. That does ring a bell now.
Yeah.
That must have been a good few years ago.
It was a couple of years ago, yeah. He spent quite a lot of time on that. So yeah, I can believe I forgot. But yeah, go and check it out.
Hi, Ben. Hope you're well. John also boosted again with 21,000 sats. Whoever called in with the question about securing one seed phrase did a terrible impression of Solex.
Hashlatet with 28,000 sats. Hashtag free Ross. Hashtag free Samurai. Hashtag don't shit yourself, Q. What was you were going to shit? Oh, you'd had a bad Chinese. That was
yes, yeah, it wasn't agreeing with me.
Very nice. And then Hashlatet again with 15,000 sats. Hashtag free Samurai. Agreed. Thank you, Hashlatet.
Solex with 6,900 sats. High five, strong arm, peace sign.
2,000 sats from Purple Frog. Breeze. Can't wait to see what Foundation has built.
Yes, I think they boosted via Breeze rather than saying Breeze.
Well, you never know.
But yeah, Purple Frog, the wait is almost over. 2 more weeks. Thank you for your excitement. I share it too, even though I know what's coming. FOMO Chronic. Do we have a FOMO Chronic and a FOMO Matronic, or did I make the last one up in my head?
Mm-hmm.
No, we do, don't we?
No, we have a FOMO Matronic as well, yeah.
1001 sats said got raw milk. This is controversial. I'm not really a milk drinker.
No, I'm not either, mate. You'd have it in a coffee ever, or you only have black coffee?
I only have black coffee, yeah.
Would you ever treat yourself to like a flat white or something like that? Or you just never, you're always black
I just
coffee?
wouldn't enjoy it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it just tastes really weak.
Okay.
On the very rare occasion where I fancy like a bowl of cereal or something. Again, I know that's a faux pas in these parts where we should only eat meat, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But when I do fancy a bowl of Cocoa Pops or something, I will definitely have some full fat milk on there.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I'd never just drink some out of a glass.
No, I did it when I was recording with John, just because I was like, fuck it, I'm going to try some. And I was like, this is just average. This is like water, but a bit shitter. It does nothing for me. Yeah, I'd have it in occasionally like a smoothie or like a protein shake or something like that. If I'm at home, I might put like chocolate protein with some banana and some milk, some peanut butter, like mix that up. And then I'm like, that's delicious. Whereas normally at the gym, I just have like water with it. But that is really nice. But other than that, I'm not really getting involved.
Same.
Pies of the Pleb, 420 sats. I listen from start to finish, even if it's only 2 gay Brits and no American badass. Lots of emojis. 420 sats. In the words of Wu-Tang, y'all form like Voltron and Jordan is the head. The real foundation of the Citadel. The mofo who runs shit on the low. Boyaka, boyaka. Pies again with 420 sats. I also recently had issues with ZEUS, and for closed channel, up until recently, I loved using ZEUS. 420 sats again. America equals a finger. UK and England equal shit. Okay. Very consistent message there from Pies. Thank you, mate. I appreciate it.
Considering how much he boosts us, he really does have a disliking for Britain, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. They hate us because they ain't us, mate.
Yeah, that's true. Good morning, Bitcoin. 1,000 sats. Thank you for being one of the top shows on goodmorningbitcoin.com.
Ooh.
Now, obviously, we appreciate the boost, but that feels like a very veiled advertisement to me. What do you think?
I don't mind it. I don't mind that.
It's a very good-looking website. I've never even heard of it before. I've just clicked on it.
Well, I've clicked on it as well, but mine isn't loading. Oh, here it is. Now it is. Yeah, it's a nice-looking website. Are you getting, like, moody, cloudy, foggy sort of...
Yeah, I want to be there.
Grayscale. Join the conversation on Noster. Our shows. So they, like, curate a certain amount of shows.
Yeah, I think they just, like, pick shows. Yeah, I'm guessing that we must have made it to the main page one day. So, yeah, thank you for featuring us.
Yeah, so I don't mind that as an advertisement because they featured us and they've sent us a few sats as well. So thank you. Good morning, Bitcoin. AIBLE 801 sats. God, prayer emoji, up, hand thing. Thank you, AIBLE.
Chad F, 333
Oh, no.
sats. This Lightning Network FUD is unacceptable. We've been running Lightning nodes over here in Podcasting 2.0 for years, and we love it. We're big on doing Rings of Fire and actually just finished up the 21st one for a grand total of over 2.5 BTC in channel liquidity, all thanks to Spencer organising them over the years. So Chad actually pulled me up on Noster a couple of weeks ago as well about being a Lightning FUDster. And just to be, I did correct him on Noster, but for the benefit of the listeners as well. Yes, we do FUD the Lightning Network.
I FUD Noster, you fucking love Noster. I FUD Noster, we FUD Lightning.
And I want to be clear on my stance here. I love the Lightning Network. I use it regularly via my own node. I also have a Phoenix app and I also have a ZEUS app, which is obviously connected to my own node. I love it because I'm a non-newbie and I've gone through the hardship of doing all of the channel management and understanding what's going on, etc. Where I struggle and where my FUD comes from is that I know that most normies just will never go through that hardship. I speak to absolute beginners every day that have quite a difficult time understanding the concept of seed words and how they work. If you start throwing in channel management and on-chain and off-chain wallets and the difference between the two and liquidity and inbound and outbound and all that sort of stuff, they just glaze over and give up. And I just don't think that that's an easily fixable problem. But for somebody like me or you, Chad, or even Max, then yeah, the Lightning Network can be fantastic. And if you know what you're doing, then it's wonderful. I agree.
Oh, you're such a suck up. Chad Farrow, I think Lightning's so gay, mate. So shit.
Don't, you'll trigger him.
The same sort of waffle. It's good when it works, and it is very, very, very useful for this pod. Kind of like a major part of the whole show is the boost. I'm getting slowly more into Noster, and that's like another layer unlocked. So I do have love for it. It's like that crazy girlfriend that causes you a lot of hardship and pain, but also she can be awesome. Nobody from nowhere, 666 sats. PayPal is shit. End of communicate.
Absolutely co-sign that one.
Yeah.
At John Gold, 420 sats, just with the clapping emoji. Thank you, sir.
At Wartime, 333 sats, fire and beers.
Then we have an anonymous XMR donation, or two of them from the same person by the looks of it. 0.006 XMR, great show, guys. And 0.62 XMR, Ich liebe es.
What's that mean?
I think that's Latin, but I've never learnt it, so don't shoot me down.
Yeah, I didn't learn Latin. It was always a weird one, learning Latin, because they used to say, like, oh yeah, well, if you learn Latin, then it makes it easier to learn another language. I'm like, well, just fucking learn another language then. Like, why are you doing that step? Why don't you want to learn that so it's easier to learn Spanish? Just fucking learn Spanish.
Yeah, exactly. And just to put a correction, I think the username for those two XMR boosts was a cigarette emoji and an orange heart.
I might know who that might be, and if it might be the person that I think it is, then thank you.
Thank you.
And another XMR chat. Hi, with a waving hand, with 0.065 XMR. Thank you very much.
Thank you, as always, for all of the boosts. We love reading them out, and we love seeing your support as well. I've just noticed a producer note here at the bottom of the boosts from Jordan. He says, Q always reads the outside of fountain boosts, so he is in the good books. Max and John are not. Now, I'm going to be honest here. I don't know what he's talking about.
What he's talking about is the boosts that come from outside of Fountain. So like if it's come in from Breeze or it's come from somewhere else, a non-Fountain specific boost. Usually Jordan like separates them out and then sends them across so that we can read them. Mm-hmm. But I think he's a little bit scared of you and your calves, whereas he's not with me and John. He's got a bit comfortable with me and John. So sometimes he forgets to send us those, meaning that we don't read them. And then rather than actually having some introspective thinking and realising the error of his ways, what he likes to do is blame us and be a little bitch about it. That's what you're seeing there.
See. Well, I'm just happy to be in Jordan good books for once. Okay, mate, updates and releases. There's quite a few here, so we can rattle through them. First off, Envoy version 1.8.5 is now available. Pretty minor release, just a couple of bug fixes where we had some people that were unable to switch their fiat currency view. We also had a couple of users that were getting kind of frozen on the splash screen. Be sure to update to that latest version so you don't get stuck on that splash screen, and that is available on cross-platform, as always, of course. Next one, this is pretty cool. Umbrel OS version 1.3.0 has been released, and they've added something called Swappable apps. So users can now choose which Bitcoin node app they want to run. So they can choose between just the normal Bitcoin Core, they can choose Bitcoin Not, or one I've never even heard of until I read this was a Libra Relay. They can also do the same with Electrum Server. So you can now swap between ElectRS, Fulcrum, or Electrum X. So that's pretty cool, especially on the Fulcrum side of things. If you're kind of a heavy user and you like to import very deep wallets into your wallet that is connected to your Umbrel, then consider swapping to Fulcrum because the performance will be vastly improved. Just be mindful of the remaining space you've got left on your disk, because I believe it is the biggest database out of all of the possible Electrum servers, which is probably why it is the most performant.
It's so much more performant.
Yeah, like it's night and day compared to something like ElectRS for heavy users, particularly if you're like an ex-Samourai user or something like that and you've got a very, very deep wallet. It's definitely worth making the switch.
I remember changing across the first time, and I can't remember who it was. It might have been you who said, "Oh yeah, you want to run one of these? It's going to be so much faster." It was like 100 times faster, 200 times. It was like, it wasn't like, oh, it's a bit or it's twice as fast. It's absolutely mind blowing.
Huge difference. And I think we've got Mr. Raw to thank for that. I think he was the one that did the first kind of testing over there where he compared them all and published his findings on spiralwallet.com as well. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, thank you to him. And obviously the Ronin Dojo guys were leading the way there. They were the first ones to kind of add it to one of these node packages. And nice to see projects like Umbrel following suit as well, because it is a big usability improvement for specific types of users.
Definitely.
Phoenix Android version 2.4.3, and I think they're also now on 2.4.4 has been released. They have redesigned the screen for sending payments. You can now attach photos to contacts on Android. And then there's a couple of bug fixes as well. And just while I'm on the subject, let me check what 2.4.4 was. That's just a bug fix release as well. So yeah, the main update here is that they've just updated and streamlined the sending flow, which was already pretty damn streamlined if you ask me. So interested to see what they've done over there. They've also done the same update for iOS as well with the same, I believe, yep, contains the same updates as well. I find it strange, actually. I've never really got an answer as to why Phoenix update Android and iOS apps separately. I'm guessing it's probably because they don't run off the same code base. Yeah, I might try and find that one out, because they're always, sometimes up to a couple of weeks apart where Android will push ahead versus iOS or vice versa. So.
I assume it's that.
Probably is, yeah, because not all projects share the same code base. I think it depends on the framework that you're kind of building on top of. Bitcoin Keeper version 1.2.20 has been released. They have updated with several transaction-specific features, including a redesign of the transaction priority screen or the fee selection. Remote key sharing and signing has been enabled for Blockstream Jade and Seed Key, whatever that last one is. Details can now be available to view while signing external PSBTs as well. That's pretty useful, actually, that last one, so you can review the transaction details after you've gone, yeah, okay, I want to sign it. So that's a nice little UX improvement as well. And then they've also done some UI redesigns for where you would add devices, where you apply your passcode, and also to the invoice amount screen as well on the receive screen. So sounds like plenty more polishing going on. And I did see Mr. Ben, what's his surname? Kaufman. Did see him teasing that they have just merged, although it's not released yet, support for Miniscript as well. So it sounds like they're going to be able to do a lot more fancy stuff with multi-sig and decaying multi-sig and key rotation and whatnot in the coming weeks and months. So stay tuned for that. And as and when that release comes out, we can talk about it.
I haven't spoken to Ben in like 5 years, I don't think.
He was working, where was he working?
He was with Spectre.
That's right.
He was with Spectre, yeah.
And his account just like blew up completely because he had like a parody account, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
I think it was it Clown World Today or something like that?
Yeah.
And that gained such a huge following, and then it just stopped all of a sudden, and then he dropped off the face of the earth. But yeah, it's nice to see him come back onto the scene, and I think he's got a pretty senior role at Bitcoin Keeper as well, and you can see a significant improvement or increase in cadence since he's joined the team as well, so good to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Cake Wallet version 4.21.2 has been released. They have also improved their onboarding flow, so they've done some updates to the pin screen before wallet creation and restoration, better privacy and security for users who leverage their node because they're now using SSL. They've now got their own instance of mempool space, which is mempool.cakewallet.com, which they're now using for fee estimations, which is a big improvement, especially if you're using something like Electrum Server or Bitcoin Core before, because the fee estimations are notoriously not great when you compare them with mempool space. So that's pretty cool as well.
Very nice.
They've also updated the links within the app as well. So if you tap on a transaction, I presume it will open up on their new hosted instance rather than going to an external one like the official kind of mempool.space website as well. New Bitaxe firmware is now available, version 2.4.1. Seems to be a quality of life improvement here. There's nothing huge to write home about. This is only 24 hours old at the time of recording, so unless you want to be a quasi-beta tester, maybe give it a week or two before updating to this one. Although, having said that, I have been listening to their podcast where they talk about all of these changes, and I know they've kind of been formalizing their quality assurance where they've got dedicated people to start testing the builds now before they turn into a public release. So hopefully that become a little bit more seamless in the coming months.
Did I tell you that I killed both of my Bitaxes?
Oh, no, you didn't. Oh, my God.
But I didn't do anything. I probably just because I felt smug, I was like, you know what? I'm better than Q&A. I know more about Bitcoin, especially mining, than Q&A. And just that thought has fucking killed them both. Because like live, as I was talking to John, we were recording, he was asking me about Bitaxes. And I was like, oh yeah, I was going to check mine. And I was like, oh, fucking hell, one of them's down, but the other one's still working. And then I refreshed that. I was like, oh no, they're both down. And they've both been down for weeks now. So, yeah.
What are you seeing on the screen of the Bitaxe when it's plugged in?
Only one screen works. So I had to, like, when I set them up, I had to, like, take the screen off one to set the first one up and then replace them. So only one has a screen anyway, because it just came not working. But yeah, I can't remember. I did have a quick look the other day and then I had just other stuff to do, so they've just been left. But it says something, but neither of them work. So it's on the to-do list, but at least you can feel less shit about that not mining.
I'm back on top now.
Oh, you've got yours up again? Or you got another one?
No, I'm still down to one, but it's one more than you at the moment.
Oh, you can't. I thought you only had one.
No, well, I had two. I killed one, and it hasn't been replaced yet.
You are back on top. Fuck's sake. I thought we were just even, but you win again. Well done.
Robosats version 0.7.3 alpha has been released, and they have now integrated, thanks to the wonders of Nostr, they've also integrated so you can see offers from the LN P2P bot platform, which is a Telegram-based peer-to-peer exchange service. Pretty cool that you can now see this within the order book on Robosats, so again, increasing the liquidity there. It's not clear to me as to whether you can actually carry out the exchange through Robosats or whether you can kind of just see the liquidity and then you'll be signposted to that to kind of carry out trade on Telegram as you normally would with LNP2P bot. Robosats and LNP2P bot are two separate platforms for peer-to-peer exchange. Both are now publishing their public orders to Nostr, so we can now display their orders in our client. This brings a lot of benefits. One of the most direct is that Robosat users will now have more info when comparing premiums, which will reduce the arbitrage between platforms and increase general liquidity. So yeah, that doesn't really answer my question as to whether you can carry out the trade itself on Nostr, but I guess it's a good start that you can at least see them. BISC version 1.9.18 has been released. This is just a bug fix where some users weren't getting enough connections to the Bitcoin network and therefore were not able to broadcast transactions. So this release is just a hotfix that resolves these types of connectivity issues. Blue Wallet version 7.0.5 has been released. They have added AMD fiat. That's a little pop quiz for you. What fiat currency is that? AMD.
AMD, isn't that like a chip manufacturer?
No.
Isn't it like AMD Ryzen?
Oh yeah, you might be right there. But yeah, it definitely references.
Look at me knowing about stuff.
Definitely references a fiat currency. AMD.
No idea.
I'm cheating now. AMD currency. The Armenian dram. I think we can excuse ourselves for not knowing what the fuck that was.
Yeah.
Do you want to do another one?
Another what?
Another currency that I need you to guess.
Yeah, go on.
RSD.
Something dollar.
You've got no chance.
Really? Rwandan something dollar?
Oh, that's not a bad guess. No, it's the Serbian dinar.
Oh, okay. I should have known.
Yeah, you got some in your top drawer.
Yeah.
They've also added coin control sorting and offline import.
Okay.
ZEUS version 0.9.3 beta 2 has been released. In this build, we've got channel UI improvements, new tab navigation for list views, static channel ID displayed on a single channel view. They've updated the activity screen. They've hidden the download button when the list is empty. On the Android side of things, they have hidden the NFC button, again, when it's not applicable. So if you run a cheap knockoff phone that doesn't have an NFC functionality, then you won't see that button because obviously you're not able to do it. So once again, that's in beta, so tread carefully. Fountain, the podcasting app version 1.1.8 has been released. The big headline here is that they now have Fountain Radio, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a kind of live radio station where you can stream sats to listen to the kind of jukebox style music, and you can...
Do they?
They do indeed.
I've not even noticed that. Oh, yeah. Here it is. Fountain Radio.
There you go.
A community music station powered by fans. We've been doing this for way longer than Fountain. We've been doing this in the Meshtadel and the Pleb Miner group for years now. So is the Node Runners.
I've just opened up Fountain just to look at the radio thing, and we're number one on the top episodes. PayPal Strikes Back.
Are we?
Yeah, and number 3 is your show with John, the Action News Show. Look at that.
Very nice. Well, thank you everyone for supporting us and keeping us up there.
Yeah, very cool to see.
Do you know what it does? It pulls lots of new people in. I feel like it's a good way that people find us. They go, who are these absolute legends who just put the highest quality content out constantly, just consistent quality? I'm going to check them out because I see them in the charts every single week, crushing it. And then they do, and then they stay, and then they become ungovernable.
Riddle me this, right? On the Discover page, on the preview, top episodes, PayPal Strikes Back, our last show, is number 1.
Yeah.
Your recent show with John, the Action News, is number 3.
Yeah.
If I tap on See All, it takes me to a Hot on Fountain page where you can filter between shows, episodes, or tracks.
Yeah.
It defaults to episodes, and your show with John there is number 1, not number 3. And our PayPal Strikes Back show is number 5.
Yeah, there are sometimes things are a bit slow. I imagine maybe that was like last week's was what you see first. And then when you click on it, it's like the updated one. Sometimes it's a bit slow updating. Like when we put shows out,
Interesting.
It's quite common. It happens quite a lot that I'll put a show out and it's on every platform in the world. And then like 5-6 hours later, it's on Fountain. And I don't know why it is. I think it's something to do with their refreshing and stuff. And like they sort it out and help us when we message them, say like, guys, can you just reset it or do whatever you need to do? But I don't know, it sometimes can be a bit slow. So I'm guessing maybe one is from the previous week. The thing to really concern yourself with is if you click on shows, what you want to know is like...
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah.
Number 1, baby.
Number 1, baby. You go to shows and you just go, oh, number 1.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you again, everyone, for your support. That is the coolest thing in the world to see.
Is.
Back to the list. There's a new Bitaxe mining dashboard available for Home Assistant.
Ooh.
So you can now have your own cool little dashboard, similar to AxOS, like that everybody that runs a Bitaxe will be able to see. But you can have kind of real-time monitoring of multiple Bitaxe miners if you're not like Max and I and like to kill them and you do still have more than one running. So you can see all the usual stuff, total hash per miner, overall hash for all of them combined, power consumption, efficiency metrics, temperature, blah, 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 all of that sort of stuff. All in a nice looking dashboard that interlinks with your Home Assistant installation. I don't actually have any Home Assistant stuff. I used to be that guy before I was a Bitcoiner that had all the...
Did you?
The smart bulbs, all of the surveillance tech essentially. And then,
did you have the Philips Hue lighting?
No, I had a same as that, but it was by a different manufacturer. But yeah, it did exactly the same thing where you could kind of do it all from your phone. And
I used to have that.
This is how cooked it was. I had it linked to my Alexa.
Ooh, I never went.
So I could say, Alexa, turn on the lounge lights or something like that.
Never go full cuck.
Yeah,
that's too far. I had the Philips Hue set up throughout my whole house. I don't know, I just got like really obsessed with it. And then I used to like set it so that it would do like a sunrise in the morning to wake me up. And it was like,
nice,
had like an orangey sort of color. And then like in the evenings, you had like different mood lighting and it had all these different colors and stuff like that. I quite liked it actually, but they were like 50 quid a bulb
So
or something
expensive.
like that. I don't know what the fuck I used to do with my money. You just do stupid shit like that, like fitted my whole house out with these sort of things. But yeah, no more. I don't even have a light bulb in here. I have in the office that I'm in now, I have an old work lamp from the garage because I don't have a working light in here. So how times have changed.
Okay, next on the list, Rewind Bitcoin has been
I've not heard of it.
announced, which is a new one to me, which is, it's a Bitcoin vault that allows you to kind of reverse transactions if you see them move to a wallet that's not yours, if that kind of makes sense. So you can set up a wallet using this app, and I think the way it works is you pre-sign some transactions to another wallet that you control, and it holds those, and you're going to have like a panic button where if you see any Bitcoin move to any wallets that you haven't whitelisted, then you can hit the panic button. It will broadcast your pre-signed transaction and send your funds to safety.
But do you have to physically see this and like effectively like press a red button in real life?
I am not sure because the website is a one-pager, very, very low on information.
It's a bit of a shit website, isn't it?
There is no FAQ or anything like that. There's just a Twitter account with 40 followers. So it's very, very new. I haven't tried it or anything like that, but it seems like an interesting concept. Here we go. I'm just going to read some bits from the Twitter to give a bit more context. So their recent release, version 1.1.3, UX improvements. Emergency addresses are now pre-filled by default with contextual help. The app is now more resilient, blah, blah, blah. Fixes. Okay, so that doesn't actually give us much more content. So
it's a cool idea, though.
It is a cool idea. I just wish I had more information as to kind of how it works, because I like the idea of having that. And, you know, that's partially what's driving a lot of the Covenant's talk around opcodes and all that sort of stuff that's been ramping on for years now and seems to be getting more and more heated. That's kind of one of the main selling points for those types of opcodes, is that you can do things like vaults in a more kind of elegant way than I think the way that this app is achieving it. But once again, we'll never poke fun at people that build what they have right now rather than waiting for what may never come in the future. So
yeah.
What I would say,
Definitely.
The website is very minimal. It's a very new project. So, you know, if you're going to test it, do it with testnet if it offers that. And if not, then put a very tiny amount in and just play around.
Yeah, I have to say, I really like that feature that could be possible in the future. The idea of you have to sign every year or however long it is. And if you don't, then it sends to a pre-agreed address. I think that's really nice. Like, that's a really nice thing to have in the future if possible.
Yeah, from a self-custody perspective, it seems like the next natural thing that most people want. Like, it seems uncontroversial that everybody wants that. It's just a case of how we get to that and what methodology we implement to do that seems to be the contentious part. But yeah, I agree. So the guys at Zaprite, which is kind of like almost like a BTCPay competitor. I use that comparison very loosely. Zaprite is like if you're a freelancer, it enables you to track invoices and invoice, your clients so that they can pay you in Bitcoin. You can do that via to hosted nodes or to your own node, I believe, as well. And it does all like the tax calculations, all that sort of stuff for you. The guys behind that service have produced something called Phoenix Server Wallet, which is exactly what it says on the tin. It's a Lightning Wallet UI, very basic looking one at the moment, that sits on top of the Phoenix server, which you can run on your Start9 and Umbrel. So they've packaged up a little UI here so that you don't have to be in the command line to use a wallet with your Phoenix server if you run a Start9 or an Umbrel as well. So you can have the kind of benefits of the Phoenix server, where it has a single semi-trusted relationship with the main Phoenix server, where they have a single hosted channel and they can size your channel up or down. But the previous sticking point to this was that you kind of had to be competent with the command line because of how new it was. There was no wallet UIs built to deal with it. So that has now changed. If you're a Start9 user or an Umbrel user and you also like to use Phoenix D server, you now have a UI to use so that you can kind of get all of the cool things about the Phoenix server, but without having to be a command line wizard. So pretty cool.
Very nice. I did a bit of command lining yesterday.
Interesting. Tell me more.
Jordan was struggling as usual with his tech. So he reached out to me and said, look, I'd really like it if you could set up a way that listeners could mine Monero with whatever CPU is left on their laptop or computer that they're using at any time, and that would mine Monero and send it to an Ungovernable Misfits wallet so that people could donate to the show almost without donating to the show. And I was like, yeah, mate, I'll knock that out for you. So I set it up so that it could be run on Linux, Mac, or Windows. You can run it in command line or an app in about a minute, then tested it on mine, and then fixed his. Away we go. And currently we've got Shadrach, me, and Jordan all mining on
That's
it.
pretty cool. Hats off for that, mate. That doesn't sound like it would have been an easy task.
No, well, I had a bit of time. I was in between jobs, and you know what he's like. He's fucking whinging on. So yeah, it's pretty cool. We've got, like I say, we've got 3 on at the moment, slowly growing, 2-minute job. So I'll probably do another little teaser on that further down the line and help people set it up if they are that way inclined.
Like it. Okay, couple of new releases. Lopp has put out a short guide on how to sync a Bitcoin node using UTXO snapshots. So the recent Bitcoin Core version 28 added support for a new feature that's been under development for like 5 years or so now, and it's called Assume UTXO. And what it does is it enables full nodes to defer verification of blockchain history by loading a recent snapshot of the UTXO set from a predefined block height, and then it syncs to the tip of the chain from there. So what it does is it kind of puts a little bit of trust into multiple people who signed off on, we agree that this is a valid point of the valid state of the Bitcoin network, more specifically at block height, blah, blah, blah. They sign it, and it's kind of like, you don't need to go from 2009, all the way up to 2024, which can take, quite a long time depending on your hardware. You can put a little bit of trust in the people who signed that snapshot and say, right, okay, I trust these people that is a valid snapshot of the Bitcoin network at December the 10th, 2023 or something like that. And then they turn their node on, they download that quick snapshot, takes not a lot of time at all. And then from then on, they sync up to the rest of the tip, where they will do some full validation on anything after the snapshot up to the tip of the chain, which obviously is a kind of moving target as the chain continues to grow. Obviously that does come with it a little bit of trust, but it does allow the wallet to essentially start receiving and send transactions within minutes of the node being started, instead of having to wait for hours, days, or even weeks, depending on how shit your hardware is. So yeah, Lopp has put out a little guide how you can do that and test it out. Once again, this is relatively new, and it does involve a little bit of trust. I just thought it was cool, and for people who like to play around and test new things, I thought I want to include that in the list. It seems like it could be a really cool thing for like mobile nodes in the future, where again you can offload a bit of that trust to a quorum of people, and then have a node, a full node on your phone in a lot less time, even make it possible versus, it being nigh on impossible currently due to kind of the amount of data that you've got to verify and sync on a lower powered device.
Yeah, I think that's the key, is like, if people around the world are actually going to use this, most people are on phones, and most people are not going to be having a dedicated bit of hardware at home, I'd imagine.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, next up, a company or a project called Lifpay, which is lifpay.me if you're interested. They offer a very simple looking Lightning wallet, which again, I've not heard of until seeing them pop up on the list this time around. Their latest release, they have come up with a way to do reusable payment QR codes for fixed amounts on Lightning Network. So until now, Lightning invoices are kind of single use. Once it's paid, you can't pay it again. If you want to do anything reusable in Lightning, in the current kind of what's available right now, you either have to use LNURL, which you can't encode a fixed amount to, I believe, or you use Bolt 12 again. Kind of, it's grabbing a fresh invoice each time under the hood, which is fine for most kind of use cases. But if you are a merchant and you need to kind of have more tracking and logging and things like that, those types of reusable solutions can become a bit of a pain. They've come up with a way of how to do this with fixed amounts, and I'm not entirely sure how, but I just, again, wanted to mention it because it seems pretty cool. And also wanted to just mention it because I've never even heard of the project before, but I like the look of their UI. So if you want to check it out, it's lifpay.me.
Yeah, that is cool.
They also have Nostr integration. They have hosted or semi-trusted Lightning addresses. You can do contactless Bitcoin payments using NFC. You can also have multiple accounts as well. So yeah, seems to be a nice little project there that I wanted to shine a bit of light on. But once again, I think looking at the service, so it's fairly new. So tread carefully and do your own research. BTC Sessions has done another really useful tutorial. He's done BTCPay server tutorial. Talks through how to host one on Luna Node, how you can link wallets to it, and how you can do all of the Lightning stuff, create online shops, point of sale terminals, crowdfunding pages, etc., etc. Very, very thorough. So if you're looking to self-host your own BTC Pay server for whatever reason, could be just simple donations or it could be a fully fledged store, then maybe give that one a watch. I know BTC Sessions is like that'll be very thorough.
I'm actually going to watch that because I need to switch our new BTC Pay over onto the website.
There you go. Perfect timing.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out. I shall report back on that. Thank you, BTC Sessions. He does make some incredible content.
He certainly does. 2 final pieces, Noster pieces. You didn't think I was going to let you get away with it. Amethyst version 0.93.0 has been released. They have added Blossom servers, an Instagram-like image or video feed, and also lots more stability improvements as well. So hands down, my favorite Android application. It very much is a Swiss Army knife of all things Noster. I don't use it anywhere near enough to its full potential, but if there's any Noster standards, then Amethyst seems to kind of adopt them very, very quickly. So if you are a Noster nerd and an Android user, you probably already know about Amethyst, but if you don't, check it out. It's very cool.
Yeah.
And finally, Damus, which is originally an iOS-only client, they've produced their Notedeck, which is in alpha at the moment, where you can have, do you remember TweetDeck, where you could have like multiple feeds? It was more for kind of businesses or people with multiple accounts and stuff.
Yeah.
Where you can have like many feeds as you want, all side by side, so that you don't have to kind of log out or switch account or anything like that. You can just manage them all in one place. Well, this is the kind of Noster version of that as well, which I think is going to be very powerful in the future. So it's in alpha at the moment to, I think, just to their paying subscribers. But obviously that means it's going to be coming out pretty soon. So if you are a Noster shill, keep your eye out. I think that's going to be a very cool one.
Very nice.
Okay, we just have one question, which has come from Crash Neon, #FreeSamurai. And they ask, if I give somebody my paynim, can they see my whole transaction history just like on a regular BTC address? So, good question. The short answer is no, they can't. That's kind of one of the main selling points of paynims, which is bit 47. So what they would learn is they'd obviously be able to convert that to your underlying payment code, which is like starts with PM8. And they can combine that with their own payment code to generate unique addresses that are known only between them as the sender and you as the recipient. So no, they wouldn't be able to see any of your previous transactions to any other addresses within that wallet or any other paynim addresses that have been generated between you and any other people that want to pay you. One thing you've got to consider though is that let's say you've received 10 different payments from 10 different paynim contacts. If you were to merge any of those in a transaction and spend them together, any of the people that paid you would be able to see that on chain. So the paynim doesn't kind of fix the UTXO problem, which might seem fairly obvious to people, but it's just worth spelling out that just because the address is only known to you and to the sender at the time that the sender sends you the funds, what you do with those funds thereafter can have a detrimental effect on your on-chain privacy by linking UTXOs from other transactions together.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be able to, if you merge them, those people would be able to see those other transactions, but those people wouldn't be able to see ongoing or previous transactions from you and an other linked paynim, if that makes sense. They'd only be able to see that specific.
Correct. That's correct, yeah.
When the two of you link, there's a certain set of addresses that are generated between the two of you. And it's not like if you were to merge with another transaction that someone else could then see those. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, well said. And thank you for your question, Crash Neon.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, mate, that brings us to the end of the list. Do you have anything else you want to chat about or any other questions that have come through that I might not have seen?
No voicemails. So if anyone would like to send us a voicemail, we'd appreciate that. But no, none this time round. No other news, I don't think, other than what we've talked about. So I think that's it, mate. I'm going to go and continue to cough my guts up, get editing, get this out.
Awesome stuff. Well, thanks again for everybody's support with the boosts. I will see you in fact, let's do some quick business on air. I'm going to be in New York or flying to New York next Monday when we're due to record. So we need to kind of work out when we're going to reschedule that so we don't
rejig it.
Yeah, we need to rejig. So we can do that offline, but obviously for the listeners, that means it will be another week where it probably won't be our scheduled Wednesday release date. It might be earlier, depending on when we record, or it might be later again. So maybe you and I nail that down offline and we can put something out on Twitter so people know what to expect.
Yeah, sounds good.
And Noster, of course.
All right, mate. Well, I will speak to you soon.
Sounds good, mate. Catch you later.